SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
I'm Steve Azar, and I'm on the other side of the microphone, meaning I'm asking the questions this time, and oh, have mercy for the airwaves. I spent 20 years in Music City, wrote and made some hits, traveled the world, and then moved my family back to the birthplace of American music and where the magnolia trees prosper. And now every time I put my feet on Mississippi soil, when I'm off the road, well, I'm at peace. On this show, it's all about hearing the stories straight from the mouths of the friends I've made along the way, their journey to success. Heck, there might be someone on, I don't even know, but you know how us Mississippi types are. We tend to take well to new company. In a Mississippi Minute, all 60 of them. I'm Steve Azar. It's just like that muddy river, moving slow. Ain't no worries, it's how life goes, baby. In a Mississippi Minute.
Hey folks, time for another in a Mississippi Minute. I am Steve Azar. I've got my guests laughing already today. They wanted me to do short intros as they've both been on my shows, but you know me, I got to give them their credit. So hang in. Before I give them any credit at all, I'm going to talk about my pals over there in Macon, Mississippi, homegrown catfish. Come on. Right here in Mississippi, go to superiorcatfish.com and visit Mississippi.org. Celebrates so many wonderful things. We're going to talk about nature today. And if you want nature, you can go to Pearl River Resort, my pals over there at Dancing Rabbit, where I've gotten to spend a whole lot of time the last handful of years. And besides being an incredible challenge, the golf course itself, just to walk hole to hole, it's a thing of beauty. It is Mississippi, just celebrates Mississippi so perfectly and represents us so well. We're going to talk about that a lot more today because we got something cooking. All right, guest number one is an award-winning author, speaker, strategic business coach, Benedictine Oblate, drawing on nearly 40 years of business experience and wisdom of the Rule of Benedict. He incorporates the principles of strategic mindset, stability, community, excellence, and profound hospitality into actionable tools for success. He's a best-selling author, acclaimed author, books like Sell Like a Monk, The Sweet Spot, Where Business Strategy, Positive Psychology, and Faith Principles Converge, and Ultimate Breakthrough Planning. He's got an upcoming book, More Thriving, Less Grumbling, coming up. Can't wait to talk to him about that. He's a speaker around the country. He helps businesses get better using those ethics. I love it. All right, guest number two, behind curtain number two, grew up in Hawaii and found himself with a debating scholarship at Hotty Toddy Ole Miss, where he and his team not only debated people, they won the national championship. Go get it. Founder and the big dog of his Extreme Arts and Sciences and co-founder of Strategic Arts and Sciences. I think I just said that twice. The Best Practices Media. He consults Fortune 500 companies and on down the line. He's the co-author of a wonderful book called Slammed, Succeeding in a World of Too Busy and Evolutionaries. Besides being a great speaker, I've seen it firsthand, author, and having an innate ability and patience to work with the most powerful CEOs on the planet and get them to actually listen, most importantly. Just like guest number one, he's a great guy, husband, father, grandfather, friend. We've all become friends over the years, and I am the centerpiece to their friendship now, which I totally am grateful for. He holds a doctorate from the University of Oregon in organizational communication. He plays the ukulele. He calls it the ukulele, and I've had enough of that. The three of us are teaming up for a transformational executive retreat called Doing It Right Now. Future-proof leadership at the fabulous Pearl River Resort and Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. Where else would I do that? But there, July 29th through August 1st, an intimate group of no more than 20 executives max from around the country. And if you're listening today and want to join us, we'll give you that information along the way. So welcome in my guys, the doctor, guest number two, Randy Harrington, and guest number one, Mike, the monk guy, Ferrell. Hello, boys.
Hey, Steve.
You know, I have you guys on separate all the time, and I mean, I keep thinking that maybe SuperTalk's going to call me one day and go, hey, we actually want those guys to be the ones asking the questions. You need to go back and sit in your lane. But, hey, I've been in this lane now. I've been in this lane now for almost 8 years. This is crazy. Crazy. Well, What'd you say, Randy? I'm sorry.
I said, you got something going on. That's why.
Well,
That's right.
I
Yeah.
love it. Well, I got Mississippi going on, and you know how I feel about this place. Speaking of Mississippi, real quick, we just had a Meridian young man win the American Idol. How you like that? So that's pretty dang cool, and we're excited about that. So more Mississippi talent doing their thing. Okay, guys, let's talk about this retreat. It's going to be a little bit deprivating, self-promotional, this show. And I know you guys hate it. I hate that. I don't like doing it, but we do want folks to come if they want to, that are listening to this show and they want to be a part of it. Randy, in your words, explain doing it right now, this transformation leadership experience.
Got it. So, like most people that are in the business of being in business, they're learning as much as they can. And with the world changing as fast as they can, as it is, you just got to try to keep the pace. And so a lot of people go out and they go to conferences, they read books and they listen to tapes, and all that's really good. But what we're seeing is that the future is changing so dramatically that that people really are losing their sense of orientation, their sense of groundedness. They're having to make decisions really, really fast. And the one thing that we know is that when you're in tough situations, having to make high-speed decisions that have big consequences, your values become enormously important, because you can't solve all of this with logic. So you have to go to your guts and say, what's really important to me? What is the value that is going to win the day here? And so this program that we're pulling together combines Mike Ferrell's amazing work, bringing in all of these very deep, frankly, ancient kinds of concepts, and putting them into the center of the table so that we can begin to make decisions more confidently and more swiftly by really getting in touch with our values. So instead of this being a bunch of talking heads, blah, 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 what we want to do is pull together something that ties in what it's really like to be alive in the world, to be creative, to understand the power of music and art, and to reflect and to go a little deeper. Theirs might be a little woo-woo, but not too much. It's about really giving yourself the chance, a little vacation to understand who you are as a leader. Mike, how did I do with that?
Well, it's good, but before you do that, can you woo, woo, woo? Oh, I had to do that real quick. Good. Everybody. All right, Mike.
I'll woo-woo with you.
Yeah. Mike.
Well, Randy, I think you hit it right on the head there. I mean, it's one of those things that, we all get the chance to work with and be around very successful leaders. And those that are very successful, I think, are always looking for other ways to continue that success. They're looking for other ways to build upon what it is they've done to continue to thrive and flourish. And I think what we're really looking at with this experience is really to give them that space, to give them that group that they're surrounded with. So it's not just the three of us telling our stories and sharing our knowledge and wisdom and experiences, but it's really the opportunity for them to experience each other. And
Yes.
You don't get that opportunity very often in these kinds of things. A lot of times you've just got one speaker or maybe one or two, or you got a whole bunch of them, and you're listening and you're sitting there and you're listening and you're listening and you're listening, but you never really get that interaction. And so I think the beauty of this experience is that we're going to be a small group. It's going to be people that have a common interest. We're going to, Randy, you came up with the term future-proof leadership, which I absolutely love. And we're going to talk to them and help them understand how you can create that future-proof leadership with ancient principles and with the idea of music and art and the fellowship amongst the group.
Yeah, we're talking about life hacks, right? We're talking about ways
What'd you
to figure
say?
it out.
What'd you say?
Life hacks.
Life
Yes.
hacks. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a quick break. I want to say this into the break, that I've unfortunately, and like a lot of people out there, have had the misfortune of having, with your work and your line of work, at some point of feeling like you're working with the devil. Somebody that you don't respect, and that they're not using those core, beautiful, ethical values. It's not faith driven or whatever faith is, right? But it's that place of empathy and compassion that you can use in your workplace. And us singer-songwriters, we want everybody to love us. And when things aren't that way, but we'll compete and we're very competitive. But when things aren't that way and you're working with somebody, well, now I'm at a point in my life, especially after getting to know you guys, where it's so beautiful. I get to work with the people that I want to work with right now, that I absolutely love, that I have become dear, dear friends, so close like you guys that it feels like family. And that is the beauty in it all. Let's take a quick break. I'm Steve Azar. I'm with Mike the Monk Guy Ferrell, Randy Harrington. We're going to be at Dancing Rabbit and Pearl River Resort back half of July, 1st of August. Doing it right now, Transformation Leadership Experience. We'll tell you how to join us after the break. Don't go nowhere. Superior Catfish. Oh, yeah. What's better? And visit Mississippi.org. Let's roll.
'Cause that bridge is washed out and the road isn't there anymore. No, no, no. That bridge is washed out and the road isn't there anymore.
Patriotism is a...
We're all alone in the river and I
Flying into a Mississippi Minute, Superior Catfish. You can go to store.superiorcatfish.com. My guest today, Mike the Monk Guy Ferrell, Randy Harrington, both phenomenal guys, changing the worlds for businesses every day for many years. These guys are as good as it gets when it comes to consulting, the cream of the cream. But they also could have Superior Catfish delivered to their house. Go to store.superiorcatfish.com. They live in Oregon and they live in South Dakota, and there ain't nobody making great catfish up in their neck of the woods. But they got other things. They got pheasant and they got salmon. But we'll get to that later. All right, visit Mississippi.org. We're talking Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. Our golf courses around the state are phenomenal. Dancing Rabbit, known as the Augusta, that you get to play. The Augusta you can play. I've played it many times. I have not conquered it yet, so I'm going back for more because that's my nature. We are doing a retreat, a transformational retreat, leadership experience called Doing It Right Now, and we're excited about it. The dates are July 9 through August 1st, I think.
Yep.
And Mike, do you want to tell folks how they can check out and see if they want to send some of their one of their execs from their companies or be the CEO themselves and want to come and experience what we have to offer?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a website, doingitRightNow.com. And that's got all of the details on it about what we're going to be doing, kind of a quick overview of the different sessions that we're going to talk about. The cool part about the sessions is that we're going to take some of Steve's songs and kick those sessions off with your music and your story and how those songs have impacted your life and your work, and really talk to people about how you've connected that. I think one of the challenges that we see and that I see all the time working with leaders is so many of them live what I call a divided life. It's that life that at work it's one thing, at home or at church or with their families it's a different thing. And really, how do we integrate that life? How do we go from being a human doing to a human being? And nice. I think that's the thing that we're really going to start digging into when we get into this. And I think using Steve's music, using your music, Steve, as that basis to springboard off of for Randy and I think is going to be an amazing, amazing experience.
Randy?
I'm going to brag on Steve for just a second because I've had the opportunity to see him perform, of course, but I've also had the opportunity to see him pick up a guitar on a sofa and just start playing. And you kind of get a peek at how the creative mind works, how music unfolds right in front of you. And there's really something magical about that experience. So if you have an interest in music at all, and if you want to just kind of be in the room and get kind of the ultimate backstage pass, I think this is one of those those great opportunities to really connect with an artist who has this sense of connection and comfort that Mike and I, are going to try to squeeze to have that inspiration flow out a little more into the executives that are visiting us, and frankly us too.
Well,
we can.
Very, 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 very kind of you, and I'm always grateful to hear that, and I'm always humbled. Trust me, I'm humbled every day, either good or bad. I'm humbled, but especially in my business. But I've asked both of you a lot of questions along the way as I've gotten to know both of you, and you'd be amazed at how helpful you've been. It's in my business, it's tricky, okay, but I feel like in every business is tricky, meaning our business is constantly evolving. Like, it is moving so fast from vinyl records to CDs to, well, we go back 8-tracks, cassettes.
Oh, yeah.
Vinyl was always around. All of a sudden, it got too big to put in stores. There was shelving issues, so they went to CDs. Now vinyl's back, and everybody's streaming everything. So now you got nothing, basically physical, but vinyl. It's just really, really interesting how it happens. And then the model for making money changes. And I know after COVID, we've all talked about this, that everybody had the great reset. You had to really sort of restructure, refigure. People got scared right back to their faith. As I feel like a lot of my friends who are sort of avoiding the topic of what's after this, they started praying a little more because things were that sideways in your life, or you had people in your life that were getting sick that you loved. But it's an interesting thing. You can get scared enough to get back to prayer. Anyway, long story short, this is not all about that as much as it's about trying to figure out a way to renew a business that you're in and to also keep it exciting for you. First of all, Mike, how do I connect my faith and my work in a way that's real?
Well, I think first off, and of course, I come from a Benedictine background that looks at these ancient monastic principles that have been around for 1,500 years. And, the tagline, as you will, for the Benedictines is ora et labora, which is work and prayer. And all of those things come together, and they're part of being. They're part of the way we live and work in community. And I think that when we connect that idea of faith, and it doesn't matter whether it's whatever your faith is. I think a lot of times when we say faith, people think religion, and it's two completely different things. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's important to understand that faith component is your values, as you talked about earlier. It's your ethics. It's your character. Those are the things. How do we connect those things with your work? And it's so important because as we look at this world today, and as leaders, we look at this world today, people are looking for meaning and purpose. And the only way that you can drive meaning and purpose in your work and in your organization is by being real. By really connecting your values and your vision and your character. Those are the things that really drive success in an organization today. And so I was just with a client yesterday morning, and we talked about this idea of sometimes we get so hung up in the business world of measuring metrics, of looking at KPIs and looking at all the various things that we can measure, that we forget that the driving force here is people. And people are unpredictable. And so if we're not doing things to nurture and make sure that those people matter, we completely miss the boat. And so I think connecting that faith aspect to your work is so vital, because that's where you connect to the people.
I love that you're talking about people, because I get to see people in massive amount. Massive. I say filled up rooms, whether it's 400 or 1,000 or 10,000, or 100,000 outside. I've gotten to experience crowds, and they take on this personality, and then once you've seen this one crowd, if you've seen that, you're going to see that same crowd even in a different city and a different landscape and different weather, but there's something so similar about certain crowds along the way. If it wasn't for getting to play music for people, I'm so interested in the final part, and that is I love to write songs, but I don't think that it would matter as much if I didn't get out and be amongst the people and get to perform it. That's, to me, the greatest high on earth I'll ever feel. Randy, I want to talk when we get back on the other side of the break. I want to ask you this. What in the world do you mean when you talk about future-proofed leadership? I know you've got some, connecting decisions, et cetera, but let's talk about the other side of the break. You can go to, Mike, you want to?
Yep. Doing It Right, DOIN, doingitright.com.
Okay, yeah, and we're going to be doing this at Pearl River Resort, Dancing Rabbit. I love going there. I go there all the time. Yeah.
DoingitRightNow.com.
DoingitRightNow.com. That's good. And no G on the doing, because that's how I do it. That's how I write songs.
Right, exactly.
Superior Catfish, they've been doing it right since time began. Please go to superiorcatfish.com and visit Mississippi.org. I always say it sounds like a song, because when I say it, it is a song. We're the birthplace of America's music. Need I say more? We'll be right back with Mike the Monk Guy Ferrell, Randy Harrington, my boys. Don't go away.
$20,000 available for first-time home buyers. Hey folks, Steve Azar here. Helping is the heart of our friends at Guarantee Bank. They offer programs like the Home Buyer Equity Leverage Partnership Grant that can assist qualified first-time home buyers with up to $20,000 towards down payment and provide home ownership counseling to empower you on your journey. These funds are first come, first served. Learn more about this program and to apply now, go to gbtonline.com. Guarantee Bank, member FDIC.
You know that nowadays, most people go online to look at a business before they spend their money. Do you have an old, outdated website or just a Facebook page and still not bringing in customers? Targeted digital advertising from STMM Digital's highly trained and trusted staff is the answer. We're ready to work with you to help your business capitalize on the power of digital marketing. Call 601-991-2305 or go to stmmdigital.com to get started today. You can now watch SuperTalk Mississippi on your YouTube, Roku, and on Amazon Fire devices. Plus, you can now watch SuperTalk TV live on C Spire TV Channel 70. Just go to supertalk.fm/connect to find out more. In a Mississippi Minute with Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Silver whistle and an old clipboard.
SuperiorCatfish.com. There's catfish. There's Superior Catfish. Every time I do the math, it adds up to be the same thing. That means there's nothing better. Go to SuperiorCatfish.com and visit Mississippi.org. Man, they're my comrades over there. We spent a lot of time together on the road. Left many blues trail markers, country trail markers. I'm so grateful to have my own here in Greenville, Mississippi, in front of Jim's Cafe, where it mattered so much to me growing up playing on those streets, in those bars, and having opportunities, and where Jim sits. It's just we're waiting on Joe Video Shot. So visit Mississippi.org. I owe them a whole lot. Since I moved back, getting to work in the music scene in Mississippi is a big deal for me. And as your music and culture ambassador, I'm so grateful. It is a lot of fun, and I wear it on both shoulders because we are the birthplace of it all. So I've come back to the hallowed ground, and Music City can't touch it. Now, I love Music City, but it cannot touch us. We are the beginning of it all, and that's what we're going to be celebrating, this transformational retreat that we're going to be doing at Dancing Rabbit and Pearl River Resort, July 29th through August 1st. You can go to doingitRightNow.com and learn how to come and be a part of it. It's going to be a lot of fun for a few days, and we're going to get down and dirty with the business, your business, and my business. I'm going to be learning a lot from my guys, Mike the Monk Guy Ferrell, Randy Harrington. Okay, Randy, what in the world do you mean when we talk about future-proofed leadership?
I think anybody who's awake right now is looking at the future and going, "Oh my goodness, what in the world is happening out there? And how do I prepare for what's going on?" Navy SEALs have the phrase, "The only easy day was yesterday." And that is true right now, right? So if you're struggling today, tomorrow's going to be tougher. So how in the world do you deal with that? And I think that you just said part of the answer to the question, and that is your return to Mississippi is, I think, a part of the answer. So you future-proofed yourself by going back to your roots, by connecting deeply with what you actually cared about, and by building something that you're willing to fight for and you're willing to go to the mat for. And so I think a part of it is that return to the source, that getting back to what's absolutely real, not being pulled too far away from your center. So that's a part of it. And I think the other part is having a curiosity that is unquenchable, just learning, 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 learning. As Mike was talking just a second or two ago, I really reflected on some of the things I'm seeing as AI, artificial intelligence, becomes more and more integrated with just about every single part of every business that's out there.
Yeah.
And what I'm finding is the people who are doing it well are keeping the humanity in it, right? So they're embracing the technology, but not at the expense of the humanity. And I think that is the way you future-proof this. That's what Mike was just talking about. All your businesses are going to change. There's no doubt about that. But humanity and what it means to have relationship and trust and integrity, that stuff is pretty stable.
When I met you guys, you guys are obviously, we're all closer to the same age. When I met you guys, so don't take this wrong, this is a compliment. You both have these values that you exude, and that you, after spending a little time with you, I understand what your core is and what matters to you. And my dad and my father-in-law, they have these crazy core values. I mean, they go so deep and they're so rooted that they have a love for everyone around them, but they were both very differently successful. Okay. And in my business, I was always concerned that maybe I couldn't be that way. Can you get into a snake pit, right?
Right.
And be successful when you don't really dig snakes, right? So,
Right.
and get in the mix of all that. And when I moved home, I was able to depart from certain things. Well, when I first left Universal, and I left that big monster of a machine, and one guy, which is very well documented, I mean, it's fine. Toby Keith, God rest his soul, wrote "How Do You Like Me Now" because of that guy. Because, he was, he didn't love us. He just didn't love us. And we were puppets because he had all the strings, And at some point, Toby leaves, and then I leave. And probably because Toby left, I had my own ideas. But I knew that my music was not centered in the mainstream country, that I was getting a lot of love there. But I knew for me to be me and for me to be honest with what I want to do and be happy for the rest of my life making music, that I needed to be writing about home. And I needed to be writing about this place. And I wanted that to be who I was when it was all said and done. And now, it took a minute, and there were curveballs, and besides COVID and besides other things, just moving away from the biggest managers, arguably, where I had Fleetwood Mac and ZZ Top and me and a Slash and a few others. My agent was the biggest there was, represented the biggest acts, and I left them from the golf course that we played every week. We cooked together every week. And when I left them, I knew that there was going to be a serious awakening for me musically, and I was going to be going on my own at some point. And then I did break. I was one that broke the love affair up, and that was huge. That was a problem for me for a little while, until I realized that everything I was doing was everything I dreamed and wanted to do, and all of those things started to just take care of themselves. And interesting that instead of me having a plan of this master plan of one day I'm going to have the state song, there was no way to do that. I never thought of that. Everything was starting to add up because I was doing everything that I absolutely loved and working with people I absolutely love, like my team at Pro River Resort, like my team at SuperTalk. The list goes on and on. But and I just felt like it was a game changer for me, getting to be me, right? And to love and to feel good about myself in the morning. So let me ask you, I love the title, Doing It Right Now. Funny, my song. Sounds like a song. But there's a lot of packed into that phrase. Mike, why is Doing It Right Now different? What's in the punch? What's the payoff?
Well, I think let's break it down word by word. First, do. Too many times I think we, and certainly many of the leaders that I've worked with over the years, talk about, well, I need to do this, 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 and they never do it. And, so first off, we're going to do something. We're going to actually get engaged. We're actually going to come together and actually do something. So that's the first thing.
I like to call it a bias for action, right?
Absolutely.
I want to try it. I want to do it. I want to see how this works.
Yeah, absolutely. So then the next one, and Steve, you just hit the nail on the head right there. The word right. Doing it right. Well, when I've worked with leaders who have been struggling, I can tell you right now that when they go back to their values, when they go back to their principles, when they go ground themselves in who they really are, nothing bad ever happens.
Right.
You just talked about your story in leaving Music City and doing that stuff, Steve. Well, you went back and you did all the right things. And guess what? Nothing bad has happened.
Never been more happier in my business.
Exactly. In your life, probably. Yeah.
Never in my life. I got to tell you, I'm knocking on all the wood, but this has been just beautiful to watch it unfold. And, anyway, keep going. I'm sorry. You're right.
So that's okay. So that's that right. And then the last piece now, and we've gotten that one in capital letters, because now it's time to execute. It's time to actually do something about it. And so not only are we going to give them the tools and the ideas and the support that they need to do it now, but we're also going to create an ongoing opportunity for them after this experience, so that they're going to be able to come together as this group and talk about what's working and what isn't working and how do we support each other. And I think that is so vital. You can go to conferences and speakers all the time and listen to it and walk away.
Well, let's take a quick break before we go. I've done one for the Alabama Credit Union. Steve Swafford, got to know him, president, the CEO of that whole thing, right? Randy brought me in, and I got to watch him do his thing, and I've gotten to see you do your thing in another way, not up close and personal. I'm excited that the three of us are going to be together doing this. DoingItRightNow.com. You can come join us July 29 through August 1st. Dancing Rabbit Golf Club, Pearl River Resort. We're going to do this cool retreat. It's going to be awesome, executive retreat, and I can't wait to learn more and more from these guys, Mike the Monk Guy Ferrell, Randy Harrington. Superior Catfish, that's what we need to be serving. Are you kidding me? I'm going to have it tonight blackened in a black iron skillet with some grits. Get ready and visit Mississippi.org, the birthplace of it all when it comes to music. I'm Steve Azar.
You can live through me. You can get through life. Around here, what I say goes. Out here, what I say goes. 'Cause I'm the coach. I'm the coach. I'm the coach. I'm still trying to find my way.
Up to $20,000 available for first-time home buyers. Hey folks, Steve Azar here. Helping is the heart of our friends at Guarantee Bank. They offer programs like the Home Buyer Equity Leverage Partnership Grant that can assist qualified first-time home buyers with up to $20,000 towards down payment and provide home ownership counseling to empower you on your journey. These funds are first come, first served. Learn more about this program and to apply now, go to gbtonline.com. Guarantee Bank, member FDIC.
Hey,
Water, and we're in too deep. Yeah, we're in cold water. Say we in too deep. hard tilling time, but I still believe.
Someone call a doctor, 'cause the fever won't let go.
Mike the Monk Guy Ferrell, Randy Harrington, both incredible authors, consultants. I mean, consultants for like big companies. Like, why would a CEO of a big company need any help when they're the CEO? Well, they draw on these two guys here, are two of the guys around the country they call upon to keep them moving forward. And I've seen it firsthand, especially with Randy, working with him in a live situation, but getting to know Mike over the years and watching how he affects people with his core values. Both of these guys have core values that are so deep-rooted. That's why I wanted to introduce them. And one thing leads to another. Superior Catfish, before we get started, I love those guys over there in Macon, Mississippi. Been to the plant. They love what they're doing, I can tell you. And they're doing it right now and have always been doing it right. Go to superiorcatfish.com and visit Mississippi.org. Let's roll. All right. Okay. This all sounds deep and cool. You know, learning to relax, have some great food, nature. It's all going to be there. But who goes to these things and experiences these things? Because I've been asking Gwen, Gwen listens to podcasts and everybody goes to these retreats after they fall in love with the people they're listening to. So let's talk about who comes to these things.
Well, number one, I think any leader that is looking for, or not even looking for, any leader that is feeling like they've been successful, they've seen great success, but they still don't feel like they're quite firing on all cylinders. Something is missing. They're not sure what, but something is missing. The other group, I think, is or the second group, I think, are those leaders that, and again, I talked about this a little bit earlier, those leaders that are constantly looking to upgrade. Okay? They're at version 3.0 right now, and they want to go to version 4.0. That's that's that group. And then I think there's even a third group, and I think there are a lot of leaders out there today and what's going on, especially in corporate America and that kind of thing, when we talk about transition. There are leaders in transition. Maybe they've built successful companies and sold them. Maybe they've moved into a consulting role. Maybe they've done whatever it is. But they're looking for what is the next thing. What's the next place? What's the next idea that they can do? And this is going to be a wonderful place for them to kind of flesh that idea out. What does that look like? What does this transition look like? And where should I go next?
Randy, how do you take that when you're dealing with different businesses? And you guys have shown me that there's a whole lot of similarities in my business and your business and the ones you consult, that there are a whole lot of similarities that we have to sort of live by in a way. But then there's the individual business itself, the little things about them. Sure. So how does that come into play when we're all together with sort of one purpose, but yet there's different, businesses that are looking for different answers? Make sense?
Right. Yeah, I got you. So, it turns out that differentiation between people becomes a strength in these conversations. So all of a sudden I get the perspective of somebody who's working at Superior Catfish, and I go, wow, I never even thought about that before. That's a whole interesting kind of thing. I see them solving a problem. And I think, you know what, even though I don't raise catfish for a living, that would work for me. And so sometimes just the different points of view and perspectives that business people bring is a source of wisdom for the rest of the group. I think the other piece, though, is that when we get right down to it, we are all better together. And so to the degree that we create connection with each other and we tie in and we listen. One of the things I love about your show, Steve, is that you talk about this show has helped you learn to listen, become a better listener. And heavens to Betsy, if that's all we got out of a session, that would be huge, because it is a struggle for all executives right now to have the attention span to deeply listen to their customers, for example. So diversity, we love it. We welcome it. Bring all those different businesses. That's going to be a strength for us. We don't have to all come from banking or insurance or whatever, Mm-hmm. I think the last thing I would say, though, is that when you look at people who do struggle with work, and I'm talking about people in law enforcement, people in hospital work, people where they go into work every day and they are challenged at deep levels that we can't even really imagine. And those people come home and they're still whole and complete. They're taking care of their family. They're still connecting with the community. They figured out the magic, right? So that's what we're looking for, is this resilience that the leader can go out and tackle the toughest things in the world, but still feel like they're whole.
Wow. Well, our time is going to be up in a second. Randy, doingitRightNow.com. Mike the Monk Guy, Ferrell, Randy Harrington, my dear friends. Can't wait to see you guys soon. Visit Mississippi.org. Always the place, man. I'm telling you. Check it out and plan a road trip with your loved ones. And SuperiorCatfish.com. There's catfish. There's Superior Catfish. Every time I say that, I think of SuperiorCatfish.com. Great folks. I love my Mississippi. Blessings. You guys have a wonderful weekend. Later on.
I'm Steve Azar. In a Mississippi Minute, all 60 of them, where you can take your sweet time.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.